with suicide rates at an all-time high, with marriages falling apart, with the stress and the strain of sequestration. The last thing we need to do is to impact on those people that have probably the greatest influence on our young men and women in the service today from a spiritual perspective, and that's our chaplains.
In 1775, George Washington appointed the first chaplain, and there have been chaplains ever since.
There's no greater joy. I wouldn't trade a day for the time that I had of serving soldiers and their families.
Chaplains were librarians, they were defense attorneys, they ran the commissaries and PXs, they wrote letters, they collected the dead, they tagged the dead, they wrote letters to home. Chaplains have been free to not only represent their own faith group, but they've been free to provide religious support.
Sometimes in some of the most abysmal conditions that you can imagine.
That meant if my soldiers jumped out of airplanes, I jumped out of airplanes.
Not only in danger of losing members of their flock, but also losing their own lives.
You provide services for them, Bible study, counselings, and soldiers getting married.
They are the guy that a young troop turns to when he's confused, when he's afraid, when he just simply needs somebody that he can talk to.
Actually, a chaplain is the person you would go to if you have a problem with conscientious objection, for example.
All our chaplains are very concerned that if Defense of Marriage Act goes away, that is going to be a major shift on the playing field.
The Defense of Marriage Act was passed in the 90s during the Clinton administration. For federal purposes, it defined marriage as a union between a man and a woman.
Military wouldn't conduct same-sex ceremonies because it violated federal law.
President Obama has determined that he is not under any obligation with his administration to abide by the provisions of DOMA.
Then he instructed the Pentagon that the Pentagon would not recognize the Defense of Marriage Act.
It is now going to the Supreme Court.
The defense of marriage is in the natural order of the union between a man and woman for the mutual love of the couple and for the procreation of children.
He said these two come together and become complete, and that's what marriage is all about.
And if this country decides that marriage is no longer between a male and a female, the ramifications of that are legion, and there will be trouble.
We are in jeopardy of essentially telling chaplains that you have two choices. Either walk away from the foundations of your faith or put yourself in a position where you are going to be outside of the directives of our military, which potentially could tell them that they must perform same-sex marriages.